Hi, welcome. My name is Chrissy, and in this video, I want to talk to you a little bit about wanting to give up. Now, I've been going through my analytics on my channel recently, and my most popular videos that are always in the top 10 are anything around suicide, depression, wanting to give up, and certainly around suffering. So I just wanted to come on and talk a little bit more about these areas and how you can pull yourself out if you are in that darkness and feeling despair. Now, I always talk about getting help because help is the one thing that can really help to drag you out of some of these dark feeling places. Getting to a GP, you may even need medication, and of course seeing a psychologist can always help you. So that's the first thing that I want to say. If you're in a really bad place, sometimes that can be the stepping stone to kind of getting you back, because sometimes we can't quite shift ourselves, especially suffering grief and heartache and these things. It can be very, very debilitating, and it can almost be impossible to pull yourself out. So you don't want to keep staying stuck in that darkness. You want to find those ways out. So firstly, if you are really bad, that is definitely what I would suggest. The second thing is that you have to start to look at ways of improving your life. So it's almost like we have commitments, we have to go to work, we have children, and sometimes these things can make it really hard for us to sort of pull ourselves out, because we have to keep going. We have to go do the groceries, we have to cook and feed our children, we have commitments. We might be a coach, and we have sporting commitments. We all have things in life that we have to keep pushing through, and that is where sometimes these challenges, when you are suffering and stuck in any of these really challenging, difficult times, it is very hard to push your way through. But in a lot of my videos, and if you go check some of those out as well, I talk an enormous amount, and I repeat myself a lot, about distraction, because distracting yourself is how you start to find relief from these physical pains in your body. Now, when you're feeling anxious, when you're feeling fear, when you're suffering and you're hurting, your body actually starts to shut down. And that is why suicide is such a huge issue, because when someone is suffering physically intense pain in their body, it feels like there is no way to find relief. So the easiest way to find that relief is to actually let it go. And that's what they say happens when we do die. We just go back to our natural form, which is when we're first born, and we don't have all these pains and hurts and thoughts. So that is something that you really need to understand about suicide, is that this is about the actual physical pain that starts to take over the body. These things aren't just in our minds. Yes, a lot of it starts in our minds, but it can become very, very physical in our body, and it can be like being tortured when you are stuck there. Now, I know how that feels. I do my videos because I have been through these suicidal thoughts. I have collapsed on the floor. I know how it feels when you're in those very, very dark and overwhelming places. But I know that you can pull yourself out of it. Now, by distracting yourself, what it does, it clears your mind of all the sort of repetitive thoughts. We can often get very stuck in things that have been said to us from the past. We can start worrying and fearing the future, and how are we going to survive, and are we going to have enough food to get through the next few months? Am I going to ever meet anyone again? We have so many things that can go on in our minds that it starts to create enormous clutter. And this is what I mean about it starts to consume us, and it will start to bring you down physically as well, because when your mind's jumbled up, you're not thinking clear. So you've got to come at these things from a very clear headspace. Now, the other most important thing I will tell you, and apart from distracting yourself, is about learning to live in the now. Now, here we are. I'm in this room and I'm talking to you, and my mind is nowhere else. I'm not thinking about my kids, or when I'm going to walk the dogs again, or what I've got to get down the street at the shops, or who was mean to me last week. I'm not thinking about that. And this is what you've got to do. You've got to do the things that can bring you back into this now moment, because that is how you start to build up your strengths again. You start to heal from the inside out. So by bringing yourself into that now moment, you can start to see the joy in small and simple things. Like I'm sitting here and my passion's where I got back to gardening, and I can look at this beautiful little plant and it seems so simple, but I see the beauty and the joy in that. So I've managed to find my way back from my dark places and pull myself out by the things that I love and having joy and things that make me feel good around, but I've also learned to live in that now moment. Now, I always recommend Eckhart Tolle. He's a master at teaching you how to live in the now moment. And he teaches you a lot as well about your pain body and the things that can rise up in us from our past hurts and memories. So I would really go and check Eckhart Tolle out. He has taught me so much. But if you are in a really dark and challenging place, you have to start to be very still. So there are ways of doing it. Go and check out my videos, like I said, because I've been there and done that. I know how it feels to be suffering intense pain. So if these are helping you as well, please leave me some comments and hit those like buttons, because I would really love that. Certainly subscribe, because I always come on every week with tips and things to help you move forward with your life as well, if you are trying to get yourself out of these dark places. So look, thanks for watching today. Like I said, go and start to make some changes, start to really simplify your life and start to bring yourself into that now moment. But start to help yourself, because I even remember when I went through a really dark time, I even told some people that I was feeling quite suicidal and that I didn't want to live anymore. And I have to say that those people pretty much ran away from me, and they didn't even ring me up weeks later and see how I was feeling. I actually quit my job even because I was so overwhelmed, and not one person even reached out and contacted me. So look, I think that's the norm, and I know they have things like Are You Okay Day and all this kind of stuff, but I really believe that a lot of people can't handle depression because they don't understand it and they don't know how to kind of navigate people who are in that kind of sensitive state. So just start to get proactive yourself and focus on your own life, and don't worry about people out there. Certainly, like I said, get the professional help if you need it. Reach out to family and friends and tell them how you're feeling, because sometimes someone else might understand that journey. You never know when your friends have been through things as well. This is something that, even though they say it is talked about a lot more, I really believe that it isn't really that talked about. I still think people sweep it under the carpet, because sometimes it's just too hard for people to deal with, and they feel like they're going to be dragged down with that kind of negative energy, which is not really what depression's about, because I see depression as sort of an illness. It's a chemical imbalance in the brain. I always compare it to things like diabetes, and that you just need to either get that medication, or you need to do the things that are going to hit and lift those chemicals up and those endorphins to get you kind of moving with your life again. So look, go check out my videos. I know they can help you to make changes, and I will see you very soon. Bye.